Hello legal hustlers. In this video, we'll guide you through the intricacies of induction, a powerful tool that allows us to derive general conclusions from specific observations. Induction. Induction is a form of that involves making generalizations based on specific observations of examples and using them to draw a conclusion that applies more generally. Simple enumeration is a form of induction. Simple enumeration is a basic form of induction that involves listing and counting individual cases or examples to draw a general conclusion. It relies on the assumption that if a statement or property holds true for each individual case examined, then it must hold true for all cases of that type. For example, if we want to prove that all dogs have tails, we can use simple enumeration by listing various dogs and observing that each one has a tail. By examining multiple examples and finding the same property, having a tail, in each case, we can infer that all dogs, not just the ones we observed, have tails. 4 characteristics of simple enumeration. 1. Uncontradicted experience. Refers to the phenomenon or observation that has consistently occurred without any contradictory evidence or counterexamples. 2. Belief in uniformity. Implies having the conviction that things or events will continue to follow a consistent pattern or behave in a predictable manner based on past observations or general principles. 3. Lack of analysis of properties. Properties suggests a failure to thoroughly examine or evaluate the specific characteristics or qualities of something, potentially resulting in a limited understanding or incomplete assessment. 4. Low degree of probability. Indicates a situation or event with a relatively small likelihood of occurrence, which may be difficult to explain or predict based on available information or statistical analysis. Analogy. An analogy is a comparison between two or more things that highlights their similarities to help understand or explain a particular concept or argument. Analogy can be a powerful tool in reasoning and argumentation, including its use in law, particularly in presenting circumstantial evidence. Characteristics of a good analogy. 1. Relevance. A good analogy should be relevant to the subject matter being discussed or argued. The similarities between the two things being compared should be meaningful and applicable to the situation at hand. 2. Similarity in relevant aspects. A good analogy should focus on the similarities between the two things in the aspects that are relevant to the argument. The more similar the relevant aspects, the stronger the analogy. 3. Clear and understandable. A good analogy should be clear and easily understandable by the audience or the person evaluating the argument. It should not be overly complex or confusing. 4. Validity. A good analogy should be logically valid and not based on faulty reasoning. It should not involve any logical fallacies or false assumptions. Characteristics of a bad analogy. 1. Irrelevance. A bad analogy lacks relevance to the subject matter being discussed. It involves comparing two things that have little or no meaningful connection, leading to a weak or misleading argument. 2. Dissimilarity in relevant aspects. A bad analogy focuses on the differences between the two things being compared rather than their similarities in relevant aspects. This can result in an invalid or weak argument. 3. Confusing or misleading. A bad analogy can be confusing or misleading to the audience, making it difficult for them to understand the intended point or argument. 4. Logical fallacies. A bad analogy may involve logical fallacies such as false analogies, where the comparison is based on faulty or inaccurate information. Thank you for watching. We're thrilled to have you here and hope that you find our content informative, engaging, and entertaining. Be sure to like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to join us for further updates.